the story takes us back to the 17th and the 18th century. That music, but also that period in history. And I was going to ask you, how is that world that you take us to?
Well, at least, I mean, for me it's very exciting, and I think for a lot of people too, because we can see right now that there is a lot of followers of this kind of production, of this kind of music composed in that particularly age of time. So this Baroque world, this castrato worlds that nowadays countertenors are we making happen again, is, I think, it's a very interesting revolution and a very interesting feeling, and also to be part of that. Let's say from the 50s on till now, the figure of the countertenor on the musical situation, it took a very interesting development through these years, and right now we are, let's say, in a very beautiful situation in the fact that
unfortunate.
Yeah, of course, in the fact that we are bringing back all this great music that was composed for these great, let's say, rock stars of the Baroque times, you know, that were the castratos. And of course there were individual projects happening since, as I said before, since the 50s till now. But what we are living right now is, of course, among the individual projects of countertenors doing this Baroque music and this special castrato repertoire, it is happening something very interesting, which is this great artistical enterprise, which be, in this case is Parnassus, which is also the agency for that is we are working together, is bringing back this great music. You know, this colleague of me, which is Max Szczęcik, is also doing also very interesting, let's say, work in regarding this rediscovering music, and not only that, but also bringing back and put it alive, this music on stage. So I'm part of that. I'm happy about it, and also, of course, more beyond this individual project that each singer can have in his career, and also in my case, it's really great to be part of this making happen again these productions like we will do now in Bucharest with this Catone in Utica, which was an opera composed in these Baroque times.
The first hearing ever in Bucharest of this work.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, that's great. That's great, and well. And also, as I said before, premiere in Rome in 18th century, so bringing here now is great, and it's great to be part of that. And also, which is very interesting, is, as you ask, how is this world and how is all this feeling? Well, personally, it's always very very rich to be able to participate in these productions. Also surrounded by great colleagues, great singers, countertenors, most of them, and we have two tenors in the production too. But I think that we can also smell a little bit of what was this situation about in the Baroque times. How was this put like five castratos together on stage? Well, now we are countertenors, we are not castrato, but we try to bring alive again this artistical event.
It's a universe of excess, of glamour, of lust, why not? This Baroque world that we refer to. And I was going to ask you, is music an accurate way to discover those times?
Well, I think totally. You have to think that in Baroque times there was no television, there was no
Thank
media.
God for them.
I mean, the media was just maybe paper media.
Yes.
So the way of people to entertain themselves, it was mostly going to the theaters. Mm-hmm. And opera in 18th century was more or less like today to go to the cinema or to go to Broadway or, you know, to go to see a musical. I think that was opera, and in those times these singers were like today, I don't know, the
like
greatest Madonna,
yes,
Michael Jackson, Lady Gaga, you know?
Yeah.
So
they were divi.
Yeah, they were
the
divi,
real
and,
divi,
and
yes.
they were representing mm-hmm. all this glamour and all this artistical event happening
yes.
on stage.
It was a fervor, I would say.
Yes, no? Yes, I mean, and you have to think on that. You know, in 19th century, opera was like today going to a big recital of these great singers. So bringing that today, I think we have in this situation, when this is happening on stage, we are very aware of that. Of course, we are trying to make happen an artistical event, but of course, the music leads you to all this excess of passion, mm-hmm. of sexuality, of glamour, of also pathos, also the
tension,
sadness,
conflict,
tension, and you have everything there, you know. And especially in this Baroque music, this indeed represent and let's say it paints very clearly how was the back then mm-hmm. in the Baroque time. You can feel it on the music.
We expect bravura, we expect coloratura, we expect fireworks, and you give us all that. But above that, you also give us something that is quite special, and that is sheer emotion. Because left aside all this glittering aspect that concerns the Baroque music, it's always that emotion that has to come first.
Sure, of course. I mean, it's life, it's theater. You know, some people say life is a big theater play. And you have in these operas, in this music, you have everything. You have, as you say, this great coloratura areas, this great bravura area, but also you have this very deep and point of no return, we should say, of some areas that goes really deep in the feelings of the character. Well, that's an interesting thing about to play in a Baroque opera. You have all these feelings, and when you have the possibility to interpret, to perform a character which is so rich. In this case, I'm doing the famous Giulio Cesare.
Yes.
You know, we heard so much about Giulio Cesare, and then you have the possibility to play this character on a musical piece like this one. So, in this case, I feel like full of richness in the sense that I can really try a lot of things and be guided by the music in the way to discover these feelings, and of course try to put this in words and in sounds, and this is really exciting, really exciting.
You anticipated my next question because you also access a wide range of characters. You mentioned Giulio Cesare. Which one is the closest to your heart, let's say?
My God. Well, Giulio Cesare is okay in this opera, or normally I used to play these typical Baroque heroes that suffers a lot in opera, you know. That's why sometimes when you have the possibility to play another kind of character, in this case Cesare, you get a lot of fun. In my case, for example, when you do Rinaldo, or when you do Tancredi, or when you do this Arbace, Arsace, all these heroes, they suffer a lot. They are very heroic.
Yes, warriors.
But they are, you know, the good guy and the straight feelings and straight thinking. But then when you have the possibility to play a character that has another
Side,
faces, another side, it's really fun. For example, it happened with Nerone, with Nero, for example, in Popea,
It's always more challenging to be the villain.
Yeah, but it's more fun, I think, sometimes.
Totally.
I mean, I enjoyed both, but in this kind of characters, like in this case, Giulio Cesare, you play different. You are not only saying what you feel, but sometimes you say something that you don't feel, and this in theater is very important because these characters, these good guys, as I said before, they always say what they think or what they feel. These other characters are, like Giulio Cesare in this case, is more playful, and especially if we are saying that we heard a lot about this Roman emperor. Well, you can have an idea about what is he playing in this piece, and indeed he's making use of his political skill, of his lover skills, also about how to interact between these two feelings. You know, and that's why I think the character gives me a big plate of colors, which is really for a performer, not only for a singer, but for a performer, you know. It's really interesting.
Franco, you have worked with conductors such as Alan Curtis, Marminkovsky, Riccardo Muti, Nicolaos Arnoncourt as well. Were they an inspiration for you?
Totally, totally. I mean, they are great musicians. Of course, they are also great names because we know them. And I think each opportunity to work with them is for me an opportunity to learn something, to add something to my musical baggage, you know, and great opportunities. Actually, I was really lucky because let's say that my second engagement in Europe when I came here, I born in Argentina, yes, you know. Let's say that my really second engagement in opera, it was already with Nicolas Harnoncourt. So can you imagine that for me was like, wow, this is big, this is great, and I mean, you can learn a lot from each of them. And as a musician, I must say that it always gives you the possibility to change different, sometimes, point of view, you know.
Was classical music and opera in particular always the first choice for you, even from your early beginnings as a child?
Well, I always like it, the feeling of the music inside me. I mean, not only classical music, I always like it, dancing and singing, whatever kind of music. But yes, I discovered classic music, let's say, when I was 12 years old. It was very interesting for me. It was a world full of possibilities. But as I always say, in music you can get inspiration from
virtually everywhere.
Totally,
yes.
A lot of different kind of music, and also because everything is very related. For example, the folklorical music from my country is very related to the Baroque music, especially to the Spanish Baroque music. But then if you go a little forward in the timeline, you will find that the famous tango in Argentina is very much related to the bel canto music and to the Napolitan songs, Italian Napolitan songs. So everything is related, and you can get inspiration of every kind of music. A lot of times I'm singing a slow Baroque aria and I say, yeah, but this is like Phil Collins, or
like a jazz
this is
tune.
like, or this is like Laura Pausini, I don't know. And sometimes musicians laugh to me, but I say, yes, you have to get the inspiration of everything that you can. And sometimes a slow Baroque aria is like today, like a beautiful slow song, you know, that you listen in the radio maybe. And why these songs touch you and likes you is because you feel it and you like it. And then it's very interesting to be able to get that or to discover that also in a Baroque aria, in a famous aria like Alto Giove, I don't know, you know, or Lascia Ch'io Pianga.
Yes. And that is so simple and
it's
so
very,
perfect.
Yeah, and it's very, very
that
easy
it speaks
to...
directly to your heart.
Yeah, and even if it was composed in 18th century,
Yes.
maybe, I mean, it has a relation with what is happening today with songs. Things has changed, of course, through the time, but some things remains the same.
The core of the music is the same.
Yeah, and personally, I like to find inspiration in everything, you know, and that's why Baroque music is also very, very rich and very interesting, because it's a music that gives you a lot of freedom to create the color or the mood of the piece that you are singing.
When you have started your journey as a countertenor, did you have a model or maybe more?
I had. My models were always the mezzo-sopranos, you know, because in a point of when I started singing, I understood that I discovered that mezzo-sopranos, women, were singing a lot of these characters written for castratos, like for men, like Ariodante in Handel, Giulio Cesare, Xerxes.
Sí.
And when I discovered that mezzo-sopranos were singing this part, but sometimes also were sung by countertenors, I say, okay, what's the sounds I like, and I used to say I like the sound of the mezzo-soprano. So for me, my models were always these great mezzo-sopranos we have even nowadays.
Such as?
Such as,
Marilyn
of course,
Horne,
Marilyn Horne,
yes.
Jennifer Larmore, Cecilia Bartoli,
Totally.
Anne-Sophie von Otter. I like to say that they are like my teachers because every time I listen to them, it's like getting lessons. You know, you listen, you hear, and you learn.
But you have also crossed the boundaries of the Baroque repertoire and moved towards Mozart.
Yes.
You did Idomeneo and La Clemenza di Tito as well.
That's right. That's right. Well, this has a meaning. The fact is that, you know, I came from Argentina, and in Argentina maybe Baroque music is not nowadays it's much more natural. But when I started, was not so common. So when I presented my teachers with this voice, they understood very clear that the register was more or less like a mezzo-soprano register. But I remember that one of the first things that my teachers gave me to study was a Rossini aria. Rossini aria, you know. I say, okay, and that was a bel canto.
Was it Tancredi?
It was Tancredi a little bit later, but first this teacher, it was a baritone, you know, a normal baritone teacher in Buenos Aires, and a bel canto school, and he came to me with this Arsace aria, you know.
Oh, quel giorno.
Yes, that's famous aria.
Yes.
And I say, okay, I will learn it, and it feels great in that time. So that's why nowadays,
even with the coloratura, the cadenza in the end.
Yes, everything. And it was great. That then I say, okay, so countertenors can also sing this Rossini or Mozart music. I'm not saying that every countertenor should sing Mozart or Rossini, because it depends in your voice and in your school of technique.
Yes.
In my case, this happened, as you say, that I'm going through Mozart or Rossini sometimes. This happened because when I start singing, I had a soprano teacher and a baritone teacher, and they teach me from the beginning this Italian school of singing, this bel canto school of singing. And of course, I was singing these Rossini, Mozart pieces, and in between Handel's also, but it was like not only Baroque music when I start. And that's why nowadays I developed a technique, and also because of the range of my register, which is more or less like a mezzo-soprano, is that I'm going through these parts like Sesto in La Clemenza or Idamantes in Idomeneo, that were written for castratos, but nowadays normally done by mezzo-sopranos.
Yes.
So, because of my voice and the range of my singing, is that I noticed that this repertoire is also working on my singing. That's why I say, okay, I want to do also that. And Mozart and Rossini are composers that I love, and that teach you a lot about singing, especially the bel canto composers, you know.
Yes. Will you also approach some late 19th century composers, and I'm thinking about Orlovsky, Der Fledermaus, or why not Berlioz, Le Nid d'été? David Daniels already did it.
Yes. Well, I said once when I start singing that I would not be only a Baroque singer, that I would be a singer which sings whatever is okay for my voice and is healthy. So any music I think I enjoyed and I like and I can feel it, I would do it. So contemporary composers are welcome, always that, of course, that I can really feel attached to the way of writing, you know. Must be vocal, must be singable, you know. Of course, let's see. If you say Orlovsky, well, I did Orlovsky once in Buenos Aires, and I got a lot of fun with that. I must say that I'm very attached to the Italian repertoire and to the Italian music. But of course, I'm.
Do you feel it more suited for your particular kind of voice?
I think so. I think so. But I'm not saying that I would not do Orlovsky or this kind of or French music. I also enjoy that. It's things. It has to happen. But now I'm doing more Italian repertoire.
How do you actually feel your voices developing, gaining more richness, gaining more agility?
Well, I think it's a mix of everything. I mean, since I start singing, I tried also to I try to find to do it in a healthy way. First of all, because we can sing. We like to sing longer. We would like to do it longer and with health. So that's the first things you have to learn. So that's why it's important the technique, that you learn how to manage the voice in all the registers, not only the middle, low, but also in the high notes, how to go in the right way. And personally, what I learned lately is how to use the high register, which is that opens in my repertoires some new roles and to be able to sing another repertoire with like Mozart or Rossini. So I'm speaking about in Italian singing, we call this the passaggio, you know, how to learn to do the passaggio to the high notes, how to learn to use the breathing, how to learn to use the larynx. So it keeps relaxed and down, so you can go high. And especially, I find like a very positive develop of the voice, the fact to be able to sing each day a little bit more healthy. This is what I'm looking for right now, you know, to use the voice in a healthy way. So that I think is also pursuing all the vocal techniques, and also in my case I'm very attached to the bel canto technique. So that's what I'm pursuing now, and of course you keep and you add to this idea, you keep the agility, you make a checking about if you learn this, you can keep this other thing, you know. It's always a very interesting way. You never stop to learn. That's the point. You are always with something new, And
that makes
people
also
doesn't know.
Yes,
people doesn't know that.
That makes
and they
also
always,
the excitement.
Yeah, they always listen to you on stage, and maybe they don't know that you are going through a new things, or you are researching a new way to do something. But I think you never stop to learn.
Do you have like a special discipline? We are recording this interview one day before the concert, and with the other colleagues of yours, that wouldn't be possible, I'm telling you. So do you have a routine that keeps you healthy and well prepared all the time?
Well, first of all, we are human beings. So we are not machines. We are not a piano or a violin. We are human beings, and we have the instrument here inside us. So I always say, before to be a singer, I am a person, I'm a human being, and I have an instrument that I try to use as healthy as possible. In my case, well, I try to, of course, take care of you know, of a conditioned air.
Yes.
You know, when you go to a plane, when you go to a car. Personally, I'm not a fan of cold air, you know, and sometimes in summer you have to be careful because people love to be freezing, and for me, for us singers, that's dangerous, of course. And well, then if you have a rehearsal, personally, you prepare yourself, you prepare your body, you warm up, you know, you prepare your muscles. It's like a sportive job in a way, you know. You have to train as a football player, as a tennis player. You have to train your instrument. It happened the same with us. And then, well, these kind of things. It's a discipline that you learn through
time and practice.
Through time and practice, yes.
When it's not music, what else gives you the strongest but also the best emotions?
Yeah, I think to have the possibility to share time with people that you love and you like, you know, friends, family. That's life, like every human being, right? I mean, if I'm able to go on stage and give my best, it's because there is all that in my back, you know. That's what it gives me, beside music, happiness. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Schenken per me,